Welcome back, and prepare to be bedazzled, because today I'm going to be shining light on why having maxed out credentials such as 4 degrees, 4 certifications, and almost 20 years of managerial experience has no significant bearing on increasing your probability to receive a real private sector employee job offer that pays above minimum wage. So why does this happen to be the case? Without further ado, without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Lamentably, much to my dismay, much to my consternation, much to my chagrin, much to my grief, much to my agony, much to my agitation, and much to my irritation, most real private sector employee jobs based on voluntary demand are often deemed to be dead and highly time-depleting, debilitating, minimum wage, dispiriting, unfulfilling, undesirable, harrowing, distressful, really wretched, and ineffably agonizing jobs that not only dispossess an employee of almost of a sacrosanct time, but that also do not furnish them with anywhere close to even 1/4 of a subsistence wage for affording housing. Furthermore, most real private sector employee jobs based on voluntary demand do not provide any benefits nor any pensions to the real private sector employees. So, real private sector employee jobs that furnish employees with a pay grade above the minimum wage threshold are not profusely available. They are scarce, and it is based on nepotism in terms of whether or not you'll be eligible to receive a real private sector employee job offer that pays above minimum wage. Are you a best friend of a hiring manager? Are you a close relative of a hiring manager? Do you have a strong interpersonal relationship with a hiring manager? If you answer no to the aforementioned questions, then your probability to receive a real private sector employee job offer that pays above the minimum wage pay grade is infinitesimal. Companies want to minimize their employee labor costs. Almost all the profits that they generate are reserved for the executives in tandem with the shareholders. It's going to be all the more easier in the short haul for a chief executive officer to amplify his emolument from $79,326.92 per hour to over $90,000 per hour if he abstains, desists, and refrains from onboarding new employees. Then it is going to be for him to do so if he onboards new employees. So employers do not give an iota if you have maxed out credentials. They want to be able to minimize their labor costs, maximize the wealth of their executives and shareholders, and they also would prefer to displace their real private sector employee workforce with artificial intelligence powered robots. So, irrespective of whether or not you have maxed out credentials, it's not going to have any significant bearing on amplifying your probability to receive a real private sector employee job offer that pays above minimum wage. If you foster strong interpersonal relationships with hiring managers, if you are a relative of a hiring manager, if you are a best friend of a hiring manager, then that can inflect your probability to receive a real private sector employee job offer that pays above minimum wage. So, I hope that you deem this video to be riveting, captivating, mesmerizing, insightful, and engrossing. Most real private sector employers are eminently recalcitrant about furnishing their real private sector employees with emolument above the minimum wage threshold. Once again, render this indelible and allow this to seep into the bowels of your mind that almost all the profits that the companies generate are reserved for the executives in conjunction with the shareholders. the profits that the companies generate trickle up. They do not trickle down to the employees. So, I hope that you deem this video to be eminently amusing and no fastness. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.